Yo, what's good? What's good? We back with another one of them things, man. Shout out to everybody, man. Before I get this started, little tribute to my man out there in Queens, my man DNA, Eric St. John, who lost his mom. So you know what? I told him I played a letter to his mom, a tribute song that he had put together. And give some people some time to share this. We're gonna talk about the point system out there in New York City. I don't think any playoff game should be determined on points.
This be a letter to my mom. After all these years, we still holding on. This be a letter to my mom. After all these years, we still holding on. Where do I start? You my heart, spent some years in the dark. The drugs and my sister had us veering apart. The Temptations and the OJs I would hear in the park. You was a singer before my career had a mark. The inspiration, you would coach me. When my pops passed, you was lonely. All your mistakes, they would mold me. Be anything you want, son, exactly what you told me. 11 years old, you brought me that karaoke. We gotta rise above this. Asking where the love went. Was never mad about your drug abuse, it gave me substance. Whenever I'm stressed, you ain't left my side yet. And gave me your last out that SSI check. It's a never ending cycle. I argue and fight you. Instead of being spiteful, I would just write you. Thank you, mama, for these lessons that I got. I'm everything I am, cause I'm everything you're not. This be a letter to my mom. After all these years, we still holding on. This be a letter to my mom. After all these years, we still holding on. Let's look back for a second, cause a mother has a lasting impression. We both Aries and we passive aggressive, but you nothing like me though. Now part of it's funny. Then I became an addict, started borrowing money. It's sad but all true. Look what it caused too. I used to say you help everyone before you. I was stuck on cloud 9, thinking I would never land. Then I was broke and couldn't find a helping hand. The passion and stubbornness, you listening and loving this. Yelling at the kids but can't put them on punishment. You live with my sister and I live with my girl, but nothing's changed. Our heart's still as big as the world. I used to think less of you, you never thought less of me. Life got the best of you, it won't get the best of me. Thank you, mama, for these lessons from afar. I'm everything I am, cause I'm everything you are. This be a letter to my mom. After all these years, we still holding on. This be a letter to my mom. After all these years, we still holding on.
So go check that out at DNA Get Money, Drink Water. DNA is a battle rapper out there in Queens. You can see him on URL platform and other platforms. But we're gonna talk about some high school football, man. Going out to New York City, my man, Coach Ish. What's good?
What's good? How you been, family?
All right. Not bad. Long time, cold out there.
Yes. Been about I'll say 2 years. Last time we spoke was during the New York City COVID shutdown.
Yeah, that's right. Time flies by, man. But we were talking offline a little bit about the playoff format out there in New York City. Shout out to all the teams out there that gets on the field. Shout out to all the coaches out there. Shout out to all the wives. And we need to get more kids involved in high school sports. Try to get them out the city, get them into college. To do the right thing because you have to have, you need to get out of your environment before you can move forward. But what do you think about that point system out there?
It's horrible. We're already in a geographically horrible area because I think we're one of the only states that still has a separation. You have everywhere else. You look at Jersey, California, Texas. They all have a state playoff system, statewide. You get to New York City, unfortunately, there's no such thing as a state playoff system for New York City. New York City, because of the overpopulation, my high schools have their own playoff system, which puts us at a major disadvantage, not only because of the fact that it's overcrowded in New York City, but also because a lot of colleges don't even respect New York City as being a competitional type of ground, because you don't play a wide area. You only play a small area of high schools. So yeah, there's no real way of telling how good you stack up compared to the rest of the state or the nation. Now I know when I was in high school back in '96, you had um, New York City versus Long Island, but that was it. It still excluded all the upstate teams who actually do play for a state championship.
Now, so you guys so you guys are excluded from playing from a state championship, basically.
That is correct.
And a lot of people feel it's probably because you are in New York City. You play with the other boroughs, I was looking at some of your competition a few years back. They didn't have all New York City in the same division, right?
Um, yeah, a few years back, New York City was just split up based off of how good you did. It was based off of Queens Cup, Brooklyn. Then I think maybe about a couple years after I graduated, which was '99, then they changed it into having a citywide Cup series. Now they went to a new format. Or excuse me, last year they went to a new format, whereas they now determine it based off of your enrollment size of your school. So some of your biggest schools, well known, such as Kennedy, who's always been a powerhouse in the Bronx, Lehman, Truman. Who else we're looking at? Erasmus Hall, who's like the top dogs in the city right now. Lincoln, Canarsie. Since those schools have more than 2,000 students enrolled in their school, they automatically go to the 4A conference and a 3A conference. Smaller schools such as Mott Haven, AP Randolph, Springfield Gardens, lower than 2,000, they'll be one of the lower two divisions, no matter how good or bad you are.
These alignments are so crazy. The way that they've been doing the alignments and even the playoff format. Like I was looking on some of the in the AAA conference and the different points that you guys had. It goes from 8 points to 40 points. Clinton, I seen the post was a dominant school. They had a win, and I guess what happened was a kid's physical expired, and they gave them the forfeit for that game. Correct?
Yeah, the background story is that one of the students, his physical expired according to PSL standards. However, it was a mistake made on PSL's part. The physical was turned in on time. They just never went in and activated him in the system in time for that game because it was turned in on a Friday. So next thing you know, McKee, who's the school that wound up getting in above us, they found out about the kid playing when he's supposed to be inactive. They went and complained about it. Next thing you know, hey, okay, sorry, we're gonna overturn this. Now we're gonna award the win to Clinton. Excuse me, award the win to McKee and take the win away from Clinton, which gave them their first loss. Now, mind you, this decision was made. We're looking at 5 days after the game took place, and then you're making this decision the night before a game, maybe about 4 games, which all have playoff implications on it. So how is that being fair that you're making a decision 12 hours before a bunch of games that's going to go on that changed your whole format playoff system?
No, it definitely is not fair. And I reached out to a few athletic directors in a few different states that I know, and I asked them, if this happened hypothetically, and they said not for no physical. I said I could see if the kid was suspended because he had a medical injury and you played them, then yeah, but not for no physical. It just sounds like somebody was biased, and not only that, they got a crap load of points that really kind of catapulted them. And now what you win one to being in to win one and go home.
Yeah, and that's really where my heart hurts at for these guys. Understanding we faced a lot of adversity from um, starting off with a lot of injuries to next thing, we had a big thing that happened that put us like headline 10 o'clock news of a student accusing a dean of something that he didn't do, and this dean was one of the football coaches. And of course, the first thing the media wants to do, as far as news reporters, they figure the best attack would be to attack the football team and interview football players when our mind should be on the field, not upset with what's going on with our coach. Then the football team being threatened to have their season canceled if they retaliated against the kid for what he did or said. To next thing you know, hey, we got our host back up. We can make it in the playoffs. To, yeah, sorry, got to break the news to you. You're not going to the playoffs. You know, we faced a lot of adversity this year for a team that's rebuilding. And this one was probably one of the biggest setbacks, especially after coming off of a 1-7 season, being at the bottom of every stat category to now being 4-4 with a running back now leading the city with rushing yards by over 500 yards.
Oh, can we shout that running back out? Who is he?
Yes, Samir Thomas Jr. He is a 4.0 student at Lehman. Great young man, very coachable. He's like a sponge. He's a sponge of knowledge.
And what class is he?
He's a junior.
He's a junior. Recruiters, man, put him on your board. Got to get out there, New York City. You know, we got some studs out there. You know, don't sleep on the city kids. That's for sure. We have one particular school that recruits Rhode Island hard because he knows there's talent in Rhode Island, and they got back-to-back conference championships now since then, and they just went to their second bowl game in 3 years. So certain areas, you know, other recruiters don't want to go near them, but go check out New York City for sure. They
I mean,
got some ballers out there.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because another young man I worked with, Akeem Dees, quarterback from Lincoln, great young man. Another one, he's if not the best quarterback in the city, he's definitely one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the city. I would probably say even in the state. And unfortunately, I had my alma mater, FAMU, tell him New York City does not produce anything that we want down here in the Southeast. We need 5-star quality players. New York City only has 3-star quality players. So he wound up, saying, you know what, let's take a 2-hour drive down south to Bethune-Cookman, and they offered him right there on the spot, and he committed. So that's another great young man that's going. You got to look at the graduating classes from the last 3 years, and we've had quite a few that went D1 from Erasmus Hall, Canarsie, Lincoln, Kennedy. Those schools are pushing out a lot of D1 players. It's just nobody wants to take the time to invest in New York City.
I'll tell you what, if you got players that are having a hard time, send me their names, send me their information, and I'll pass it on to recruiters that I know. I know there's some recruiters up here in the Northeast that are always looking for that talent, no matter where they're from, New York City, Maine, wherever. You know what I mean? So we need to get these kids recruited into school, get them a school that's reasonably priced, a package that's suitable for them and their family. And there's a lot of low-income foundations out there now. I know Massachusetts just recently said that they have one, but a lot of these, the government don't want us to know about a lot of these nonprofit, scholarships. But there's a lot of scholarships out there for not nonprofit, for low income students. Take advantage of that. But how do we change? Why can't we just have regular win-loss percentage? I don't even mind a winning percentage. The winning percentage isn't as bad as I thought it was, but what's wrong with win-loss record like we used to do?
That I don't even know. I think it's because, it's so many teams now placed between 4 divisions. Like I said, back in the early 90s, you had maybe about 9 different divisions. So you had a lot of people, but for some reason they're straying away from that. It could also be because of declining numbers of football programs you have out there due to the declining number of kids. But to throw everything into 4 conferences is ridiculous.
Absolutely. No, it definitely is. And I was looking over some paperwork that you had sent me. I'll see if I can get it up on the screen, and it basically is it's breaking down how the power structure works, and it says um if a team competed in a higher division the previous year, it will be placed a half position higher than it's finished the previous year. If a team competed in a lower division the previous year, it would be placed half position lower, and it breaks down who plays who. They make it too damn confusing, bro.
Yeah, the easy way of saying it would be this. Um, the way the schedule is set up, they'll have the top 7 teams will wind up playing each other. And then 2 of those games will be from the bottom 7. So they could kind of like equal it out as to your strength of schedule. But still, like I said, the point we're looking at this, we both had similar strength schedules between us and McKee. But how is it that McKee has 3 wins? I think those 3 wins was against Clinton, which was a forfeit because Clinton was the top dogs and they were undefeated up until that time. Um, and I don't remember who the other 2 wins were, but it wasn't against us. So why is it that they get to go to playoffs with 3 wins? You know,
No, exactly. That
something's not
makes
right in
that
that
it
picture.
just nah it makes no sense at all. And
And even with
especially
three
for the
wins,
reason, and you know what I mean. Yep. Go ahead.
yeah, no, I was saying like, and if you are able to pull back up um, the win loss uh, page that I sent to you, it is astounding how what's the point differential for 3 games compared to 4 games. That average you get per win is ridiculous.
No,
I could say, okay,
absolutely.
I can understand if it was maybe 1 point or 2 points, then yeah, we could look at that. We could look at if your wins were blowout wins by 50, 60 points to say, yeah, you are a real powerhouse. But we're looking at almost 70, 80 points between 1 game. Like, they got to explain that. It has to be explained
Yeah,
somewhere.
no, it don't make any sense. I'm trying to get the other paper up here with that on it, and let me see if this is the one. No, it really don't make sense, and a lot of leagues want to go to that format. I'm putting up on the screen, people, and you can actually blow it up if you choose to actually see what he's talking about, you know. And if you're playing a team that's lower ranked than you are, you get less
No,
points. If you're playing a team that's ranked higher than you get more points.
no, actually, just look at the one that you first put up with the win and loss.
Okay, give me 1 second. Give me a second to pull it up. You know, so while I pull this up, talk about some of the players on your team that maybe some recruiters should be looking out for, other kids around New York City.
Um, well, I can tell you because this year I've been really focusing on the recruiting aspect and taking on a new role as the defensive coordinator with the JV. I've been solely focused on my guys, so I can definitely speak to vibes about that. Definitely the heart and soul of the line, defensive line and offensive line, Handsome Bar. This young man, I would say this when I say that is a moving bulldozer. Um, I've seen very few guards. Last guard I've seen was Armand Bethea that could get out of blocks on a pull and literally level a linebacker somewhere on the boundary that's trying to stop a sweep. Handsome Bar's one of those kids where every time you look at his hug film, he's knocking the kid over on his butt. Another young gentleman, Davey, he moved over to being a center, and he's been great for us as a center. Um, Nick, he's a good cornerback. He's another one that'll give you quality minutes out there. Um, and so long as you keep him on track with the game, he could pick up any defenses as well. We're loaded, I think. And also the best one I can say is a gentleman. He's a linebacker for us, Aiden. That kid, when he first started with us playing football about 3 years ago, he didn't know a lick of football in the world. Now I would throw him in a dogfight with the biggest guy you got out there and tell him fill that hole, and that hole will be filled before the running back even see that somebody stepping into that spot. So Lehman's been great, filled up with talent. Um, it just unfortunately a few key mistakes here and there couldn't keep us out of that lost column. Other than that, we're a team that we could have ran a table, and it would have been lovely to see us versus Clinton in a 3A matchup for the championship.
Now, how did you handle the players when you had to tell them, like, guys, all the hard work you did this year? I know they said we were going to be in the playoffs, but now we're not.
Coming from the player's perspective, because I'm a player myself, it was heartbreaking. For these seniors, they don't want to end the season on a losing note. Yes, their final game against Flushing was a 40-20 blowout, but it's a loss when you don't get to play a playoff game. You know, we know to leave it all on the field, but when that game is over, we feel like we have more to give for the next game. We didn't turn our equipment in because we got another one coming up, another 4 quarters. And now to know that you don't have another 4 quarters is like, it makes you question yourself as a youth. What did I do wrong in the season to cause my team to be in a spot? Could I have done something better? And it's one of those things. It wasn't completely in our control, but at the same time, we did make some key mistakes that controlled our destiny.
Absolutely. And here's the page that I have on here that you was actually asking. I'll put it up on the full screen. I believe this is the one, right?
No, it was actually the first page you put up with the PSAL win and loss records.
Oh, okay. All right. Give me 1 second. Yeah, it's tough enough in over in New York City. This ain't the one either. Wait a minute. It's tough enough living in New York City. And now the kids go to school and try to do everything they can, and they have to deal with this. And now they feel that they've been cheated out once again.
Yeah,
Not
that's
right.
the
Not
exact
right
one
at
I was
all.
talking about. Because if your viewers can scroll in on the right hand side of the screen and look at the points, if you notice outside of the win and loss record, the strength of schedule, we're both sitting at 10 to show we both had the same strength of schedule. But the points is what is astounding right now.
Absolutely. Now you can see the points he's talking about. You got like Clinton up there at 1127, Boys and Girls High School 1018, Brooklyn Tech 781, Benjamin Cardoza 761, Frank Lane 755, Hamilton 631. So it looks like you're getting is 70. It looks like 78 is the max number of points that a team awarded.
Yeah, it could be. Like I said, it could be that based off of who your wins or losses. Because as we know, any dog can have his day against a bigger dog in the yard. But when you do look at the records, it is pretty close in points. All of a sudden, you get down to Lehman and McKee. Lehman 4 wins, and you have less points than McKee 3 wins. And once again, it's not like it's 5 points, 15 points. We're talking about a whopping 80 points for having 1 win less.
And that just makes no sense at all. You guys play similar opponents?
Yes.
So it's like anything else. Explain this to me, and I bet they say, well, it's the optics. It's how it's designed. It's how it is. This is what it is. And, the league is never going to be transparent with anybody. I mean, they all seem to be the same, but we need to do better.
Yeah, exactly. Now the head coach, because he actually lives out in Long Island, he's really familiar with the Long Island point grading system. I mean, strength of scheduling system, and point system, because they use that in Long Island. They don't have these issues in Long Island. So he proposed to them an idea of how to do a point system and see if they can run it that way next year. And they figured their way of responding back would be to call a meeting to waste our time. And I think this was the insult to slap us all in the face. You call a meeting of every single um, athletic director and head coach for that 3A division, and you don't admit to that you made a mistake, but to kind of band-aid over the mistake, you say, well, let's think about this. Let's now go ahead and go to possibly doing a 10-team format for playoffs. We'll add in John Adams. We'll add in um, Lehman High School, because those were your 9 and 10 teams. And now we'll go from doing the regular playoff system to now 1 through 6 having a bye week. 7, 8, 9, and 10 will play a wild card playing, kind of like how they do with NCAA basketball. Um, just give some time to sit and think about it, and then we'll let you know. But you're having this meeting on a Tuesday. On a Tuesday. Now, how's that going to work when people have to reschedule buses? Change. They've already been practice planning for one team. Now you're telling them that they got practice plan for another team. You're looking at us and John Adams collected all our equipment. Now we got to blow a whole nother day giving the equipment back out. Who's that? How's that benefiting anybody?
Exactly.
You then say you're going to take time to deliberate about it. And then after one coach puts pressure on you, like, well, this is going to be 15 minutes, an hour, a day. What are we looking at? How long is it going to take to deliberate? You send out an email 20 minutes later. We already made up our minds. We're going to keep it the same. Sorry, see you next year.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
and
not
I'm
even
pretty
right
sure.
because it takes a lot. The assigner has to assign officials. Go ahead.
Exactly. You got to get you in New York City. A lot of schools do not have their own field, so we got to fight to get field permits. With the field permits, that also means DOE has to pay these school safety officers extra money just to sit at the games. You know, it's a lot. It is a lot.
Well, hopefully in the future they could fix this because this should never happen again. But what does that do for this senior class? There's some of these kids will never have the chance to play organized football again, and that goes for a lot of high school kids. What does that do for this group of kids that feel they earn the damn playoffs? They earn the chance to be there. What do you tell them? It's all right telling coaches that. How do you look these kids in the face like Lehman staff has to do?
You really can't. You really can't, because I mean, I try not to get emotional, but I do, because for 4 years, these are my babies. These are my kids. You know, now to see that we start off on a low point, ended off on a low point, hurts. It really hurts.
They should keep their heads high, man. That whole program, and if they hear this, I hope they will keep their heads high. Um, he should tap back in. He probably just got kicked off over there in New York City. My man, Coach Ish, coaching over at Lehman campus, who takes a team that won one game. All of a sudden, they're 4-4. They have enough points for the playoffs, and then a kid from Clinton gets, because his physical expired, a week or so before. Now another program gets so many points. I think McKeon catches up, and now they're in the playoffs. So it's just not fair on that program. So we're gonna give Coach Ish a chance to get back up in the building. I actually had sent him something. I sent him the link for this show so he could share it later. So maybe I'm the one that screwed all that shit up. But we're not loading no more. We are here in the building. The song we had on "Your Letter to My Mom." It's all right, man. His phone is actually dying, so we'll catch up with him after. But Lehman campus feels slighted because of the situation. They got bounced from the playoffs because another program played Clinton, a player on Clinton's physical. Imagine that, his physical. Yes, I said that right. It wasn't a medical thing where he was not supposed to be playing. His physical had expired, before the game. Another program found out about it. I think it was McKee. Blew the whistle on it. They made DeWitt Clinton forfeit the game. And because of that, the lower team got so many points that they was end up to catapult and knock Lehman out of the playoffs, man. That's some bull. You know what I mean? That is crazy, but shout out to all the programs out there around the country, man. If you have a problem, something going on in your league, in your school, this is what we're here. We're here to give coaches, players, parents a voice in local high school sports. We're gonna be back with some more Rhode Island high school playoffs. Shout out to my coaches out there, players over at Brooklyn Tech, Benjamin Cardoza, Franklin Lane Campus, Fort Hamilton, man. Shout out to my guys over there at JFK High School, formerly in the Bronx. Spent some of my senior year over there. That's right. They're like, Whitey Ford? Yup, you already know. Shout out to Dante of the Alps, man, who started all 10 games for the UMass Dartmouth Corsairs, going 143 at 251, 7 picks. He thrown for a MASCAC best 2,233 yards and 21 touchdowns. Shout out to him. And appreciate everybody. But that point system is pretty gaff that's going on over there in high school sports over in New York City. If you ask me, get it out of here.
Time I pull the plug, the game is over. The game is over. It's time I pull the plug. The game is over. The game is over. It's time I pull the plug.
I love what Mikey does. Sometimes I'm like, yo, you over the edge, TMZ with it. But
the boy gonna do you something nasty.
I hate to say it, more times than not, he get the results he wants.
Right, and to be honest with you, I honestly don't think it's over. Honestly, I think exactly what this state needs. We've always needed a platform where we can call out the nonsense,
the repercussions,
and give people the props that they deserve, and call out the people who are full of it. And honestly, I think that more and more people are starting to utilize Mike's platform for that. And honestly, I know a lot of folks. A lot of people talk to me, "Oh, Emerson, like you're on there and you talk this and you talk that," and I'm like, "Listen," I said. Name one thing that he's been wrong about.
We don't do no talking, we know what they do for the views. If I took a loss, no, I got it all back. They just wanna talk, so we gonna talk facts. Got it out the mud, got it out the mud. Really on the blood, really on the blood. Yeah, they know it's on, yeah, they know it's on.
That's the bad guy. Bad guy. Bad guy. That's the bad guy. The bad guy. The bad guy. Commission. The bad guy. The bad guy. The bad guy.
Load up, Dick.
Throughout, but like
that's what's made him the GOAT.
Don't do that. What?
Well,
that's what's made him the GOAT.
Hey, we out of here.
All right, thank you, guys.
never done is Mr. Spin your
Always. Thank you, Coach Ish. Thank you, Wayne, the voice, Matthews, for everything, how you inspired us all. So much you did for youth sports, man. But we are out. Much love. Everybody have a good Thanksgiving. Appreciate that. You know, everybody show the love. You want to donate to the platform because we don't make no money. You know what I mean? You can hit up the Cash App. Can we keep it real? And we just doing it, man. Shout out to my guys, Fed Hill. Check them out on YouTube.
When I drop you off, you never see your father. Saw 48 hours of the week. It's not enough for us to speak. It's not enough for me to teach. I want to hug you. You're out of reach. You're so far away. I just want you here with me. Just know this wasn't up to me. Driving from your mama crib, I find it hard to breathe. Hard to tell you what I mean, but I never want to leave. There's things I must protect you from. I only can 2 days out the week.